Hello, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's hopping on, and thank you for joining us today for a special episode of Live from JAmemories Studios. We've got a special show today, and I'm really excited about it. But before we get started, I'd like to just touch base and give you a couple quick things about what's coming up here at JAmemories. I was asked by a couple of people that I really appreciate and trust, asking what is the purpose of JAmemories live on YouTube and Facebook. And so I'm going to address that question and discuss that live next week at our weekly show at our normal time of 8 p.m. Saturday night. This obviously is a special show here today at noon, and I really appreciate everybody who hops on and joins us today. But We've also got a special show coming up in the near future. I'm currently working on a project with Little Lighthouse. If you remember, Little Lighthouse is a show, it's a school that Ruth Ann was able to go to, and she was able to go for 4 years when she was a baby and a toddler, and really, really blessed our family. So we try to contribute as much as we can back to that school. So I'm working on a project for them, and I'll be discussing that in the future show coming up as well. So look forward to those shows. If this is your first time joining us, whether on Facebook or YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Both have different ways of subscribing. On Facebook, you can follow us and join the group. On YouTube, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and you'll be told when we go live. I typically try to go live each week about 8 p.m. on Saturday nights, but you never know when I'll have the inclination to go live. So turn on the notifications, and you'll be told when we go live. Now, as we get ready to go live, we are live. But let me know in the chat if you guys can hear us, and let us know. But we're going to get ready to get this going. I've got a special guest in the show. Today is a very special day, so let me introduce my special guest and make sure I can do this correctly. And here we go. Here's my beautiful wife, Andrea.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Whatever.
As John said, this is a very special day. It is our 17th anniversary, so we've been married for 17 years. Yay! So I just wanted to say thank you for coming on and joining us and helping us celebrate this day. And thank you for being here.
Yeah. So, 17 years ago today, right about now, noon, we were taking pictures, right?
I think we took pictures around noon, yeah.
Yeah, so pictures were about noon. Wedding was actually about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So,
I would not suggest making pictures in the wedding that far apart if anyone's getting ready to do your wedding.
But it worked out for us, and 17 years later, we're still smiling and having fun. I'll be honest with you, my wife, Andrea, was not thrilled 2 or 3 weeks ago when I told her we were going to do this. She kind of glared at me going, "You want me to do what?"
I prefer being behind the camera, not in front of it.
Yeah. So as you can see behind us, we've got quite a collection of pictures behind us, and we'll be going over some of those in the near future. I promised my wife we would not go live too long. She's not thrilled about being live. So, but maybe if this goes well and we get a lot of input and a lot of excitement from it, she may come back and do some more. But
maybe.
Maybe. But anyway, so we've got what's been the wedding 17 years ago, and then we had JD 2 years after. So JD, our son, who, believe it or not, is 14 years old now, about to turn 15, and I actually had a conversation with him yesterday. Was it yesterday? Driving him to school, going, okay, so JD, when do you want to get your driver's license? So, it's on the radar, but not quite there yet. But, when you turn 15 going into 16, you start having those discussions. So, something to look forward
Scary
to.
time.
Yeah. And then in 2011, we had Ruth Ann. Little bundle of joy, keeps us on our toes.
Oh yes, because it's very busy.
Yeah, we kind of corralled them up in the upper part of the house so that we could do this and not kind of be disturbed. But hopefully that will be the case. but if you hear crying or banging, you may have to scoot out. One of us may have to scoot out quickly and take care of that. Is the joys of being parents.
Ruth Ann does not like when we shut her out of somewhere. She feels like she's being ignored.
Yes. So, that's something that we do. But, life as a married couple, one thing that I remember and always try to put into perspective is the fact that weddings and marriage and life together, you take into consideration the fact that when you are dating, our first date was homecoming banquet, right? That was our official date.
Officially.
We hung out. Obviously, we were going to the same church for two plus years before that.
I think it was about 2 years.
So we were attending the same church, and then
we also had a lot of mutual friends, so we would get together at people's houses and things like that.
Yeah, so we our mutual friend who, the funny thing is, our mutual friend Kim and Danny Hodge, they were driving me to church. So they would come to the camp.
They had already graduated, so they lived off campus.
Right. So they would come back to ORU, pick me up, and then drive me to the church. Well, Andrea lived off campus at that.
No, I still was living on campus at the first.
Oh, she was still living on campus. That's right.
But there was no reason. Carrie Danny said there was no reason for me to drive to church when they were already coming to church. Coming to campus to pick someone up. So they came and they picked us both up.
Right.
However, when I graduated and got off campus, I was closer to campus than they were. They were actually backtracking.
So they ended up picking her up. So we ended up going to church, about a month, 2 months of just going back and forth to church. And then the homecoming banquet came up. And that was the last year, because Andrea technically had graduated by that point.
I finished in December, but I wasn't working until May. So.
Right, so technically had finished college, lived off campus. So that was going to be her last official chance to go to ORU's homecoming as a student. And she had always wanted to go. I always wanted to go as well. So I, as a friend, said, hey, one of the days we were driving to church, I said, hey, why don't we go as friends? Just, two friends. We
that
know
way
each
you
other.
have somebody to talk to,
Right.
not.
So we ended up going that night, and something sparked. I was a little hesitant, but Andrea. Whether anything happens with Andrea, I'll let her decide to tell you that if she wants to. But, over the course of the next couple of days, we went to the next day was the ORU homecoming basketball game. We went to that together. And then about a week later,
John actually sat through 4 hours of Anthony Gables and watched it with me. That's dedication.
Yeah. She had a home, what would you call it?
Housewarming party?
Housewarming party. That's the word. Couldn't remember the word. So she ended up just going, and so she invited me, and I think it was at that point I asked you out, or was it?
It was that night, yes.
Yeah, so I asked her out, and then...
and I told him he had to wait 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always... That's never a good start to a dating experience.
I had only ever really had one dating experience before, and it had turned out very badly. And I was coming off a guy who had been stalking me. So I wasn't really too sure I wanted to date anybody. So, what you do when you're trying to figure this out. You go to your best friends, Good thing to do.
Yeah.
So, I remember I went to my friend Kim, who actually, John was a very good friend with Kim and Danny as well. And I asked Kim what she thought of John, what she thought of us dating. This is what she told me. She goes, well, it depends on what you want. Like, what does that mean? She goes, well, John's not looking for a girlfriend. He's looking for a wife. So she said, if you can't think of yourself marrying him, don't waste your time. So, that got me thinking along those lines. And I had already figured out I liked him. Okay, that wasn't the point. I figured that out at a homecoming banquet. I just wasn't sure I wanted to date anyone. I had told my friend Jen I was swearing off guys forever. Also, I was still planning to go back to Iowa when I graduated. So it was, do I want to start a relationship here and then possibly do a long-distance relationship? What's going to happen? So I prayed about it. I only made him wait 1 week.
Thankfully.
And then we did start dating, so.
Yeah. We dated 7 months, and then, over the course of a couple...
that was in February.
That was in February. Had the opportunity to talk with her parents and discuss future plans. And then...
My parents met John in May, the beginning of May, when I had my graduation.
Right.
Then the end of May, my sister was graduating from high school.
I need to find something.
And John decided to ask my dad's permission to ask me to marry him the beginning of that weekend.
Yeah. And of course, we won't go into the ins and outs of that, but, thankfully by the end of the weekend and after several conversations with him, he gave his blessing. And
when all said and done, from the time we started dating to the time we got married was 7 months.
That was not the original plan.
No.
The original plan was to wait, I don't remember the exact date.
We were going to wait until June 11th, 2005.
2005.
But we had a couple people that we wanted in the wedding that were going to be out of the country. John's brother was getting deployed, and I had a friend that was going to be studying abroad in France. So we moved the wedding up to September of 2004 so we could have it before these people left the country.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, so I've got a picture back here somewhere. If I can find it. This picture right here. First off, this was the picture, if you can see it, is the picture of us on
my birthday.
Her birthday. That was March.
When we were dating.
When we were still dating. And then...
that was actually the day of our first kiss.
Yeah, I'll let her explain that to you if you want to.
It was special.
Yeah. So this picture, which, let me see if I can get a little bit closer to you guys. That picture is actually our engagement picture. Our engagement announcement pictures. That's a day after I asked her. So that picture's there.
And we actually have another picture of that too.
Yeah, we have a bigger picture. We brought our books down with us.
Are you actually asking where is it?
Oh, I think it's in the beginning, isn't it? Right after the no, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then here is like where he actually asked. He asked on my favorite place at my parents' house was the swing on their back porch, and he asked me there.
Yeah, funny story about the wedding, the engagement ring. I had been carrying the engagement ring in a box in my pocket the entire weekend, and by the time I finally got a chance to ask her, Andrea was sitting there, and she knew I had talked to her dad, and so she was trying to figure out exactly what he said, and me being from New York, being a little sarcastic, I was kind of beating around the bush. She finally said, John, if either you tell me what your dad said, or I'm out of here.
I was so stressed out, I was about ready to smack him. I'm like, I know Dad told you something. What did he say? Did he say yes or no?
So I had her close her eyes. I get on my knees, and I pull the ring out, and she opens her eyes, and I open the box. There's nothing in the box. the ring over the course of the weekend had fallen out. Thankfully, it actually was in my pocket that I was wearing. So I was able to dig out and pull out the lint in my pocket.
But he made a very good, I don't know if you can see it, but he chose this ring all by himself.
Yeah,
It's shaped like a heart.
Where's
this picture on
we have a picture in our wedding. We have let me see. Can I take this camera over here real quick? There's the wedding picture of the rings.
Although John's been through 3 rings since then.
Yeah, well, life happens, and as a guy who works in TV doing all the engineering things, my rings tend to have problems. So, but I'm happy to say that this ring that I have now has lasted quite a few years. So.
And the other ring he wears, the eagle ring, I got him that shortly after we were married.
I think that's...
and he's had that the whole time.
Yeah, I've had that one.
I think we got that one on our first anniversary.
I believe so, yeah.
Because, of course, anyone who knows John knows he likes eagles.
Yeah.
So I searched everywhere and found him an eagle ring, so...
Yeah. So, over the course of 17 years, we've had our ups and downs, like most couples. One of the best parts of being a married couple is when you do have difficult times, you have each other to bounce on. And one of the things that we decided from the very beginning was the fact that our marriage wasn't going to be just between the two of us. We decided that Christ was going to be part of our marriage from the very beginning. Actually, it was going to be part of our marriage before our marriage. And, when you have a strong foundation from the beginning, it helps.
Yes.
At our wedding, we took time with our vows to acknowledge Christ in our marriage. We've had those moments where you argue, you fight, you disagree.
Just like everyone. But marriage is a partnership, and marriage is a friendship. And both of those things take work. Marriage takes work. It takes compromise. It takes willing to listen to the other person. It makes willing to work to resolve disagreements, misunderstandings, mistakes. They're going to happen. We're human. Mm-hmm. We're going to mess up. And sometimes we mess up really bad. But there has to be forgiveness. There has to be honesty. And there has to be an openness to listen to each other. Communication is key. Communication has to stay open and honest, or the marriage isn't going to work.
The biggest I talk a lot about this on all my shows, is about love and God's love, and that's paramount to everything that any marriage should be. I actually read a little saying from Miles Monroe this past week, and it started out, the first time I read it, I was really confused. Bear with me, I'm going to grab it right here. I forgot to grab it and put it over here first. The title of it is labeled "Marriage Does Not Need Love." And the saying by itself, I would not agree with. And I actually discussed this with Andrea. She goes, "No, I need love." So, but let me read what he said, and then I'll discuss what I really got out of it. It says, "A successful marriage has little to do with love. Love is not the qualification for marriage. Love is a dangerous thing. Love can make you think you can make it. Every divorced person was first in love with the person, they divorce. So they tell. So don't tell me love keeps you together. Love does not guarantee success in marriage. Love brings happiness, but doesn't bring what it takes to make marriage work. The only thing that makes marriage work is knowledge. You feel like you love someone, but you better get knowledge on how to live with them. And we are sure a feeling culture that our insanity takes us to the altar, makes commitments we know we can't keep. Marriage is not protected by love. Marriage is protected by knowledge. And that's by Miles Monroe. Now, some of that I don't agree with on the premise of the exact words. But the premise behind what he's saying is love is not the grounding force, is not the only reason and the only thing that holds marriage together. And like Andrea said, open communication. Miles Monroe put it as knowledge, but it's more than just knowledge. It's godly knowledge. It's being willing to because love is in itself is a feeling. But
that's the thing. That's what I was going to say. Love isn't a feeling. It can be. But love, its truth force, is a decision. Mm-hmm. Love is an action. Like the old DC Talk song, love is a verb. It's something you do. It's not just a feeling. Yes, serotonin, comes and everything, like they say in all those bone shows and everything. But love can be a feeling, but that's not the part that's going to keep your marriage together. What's going to keep your marriage together is a choice to love.
Right.
A choice to love a person even when they are making you as mad as you have ever been.
Right.
Even when you got to pick up the dirty socks on the floor. Whatever. But love is a choice. It's not just the fuzzy feeling. It's not just the, oh, I love that person. They're so cute. Great. You might not even like them at that point. But you choose to love them. You choose to stick with them. Love is an action and a choice you make.
Right. So the love that God talks about in 1 Corinthians 13, the love chapter, that is not love as a feeling. That is love as an action, like Andrea said. And I believe that if we as a couple and as a society would embrace the knowledge, the biblical knowledge of what true love is, true, and I think, and I'm not sure where this phrase came from or what Miles was talking about as far as where the context behind what he was saying, but too many times people jump into a marriage, and like you said, love as a feeling drives us to do things that if you take time and think about it, because I'll be honest with you, when you're dating somebody, when you're first in love and in what they consider the honeymoon stage of marriage, you almost like have rose-colored glasses on. And I've heard that phrase quite a bit, is the fact that you have rose-colored glasses on. And so many times when the honeymoon phase of your marriage is over, whether that lasts a day, a week, a month, a year, whatever it is, and life starts happening. The car breaks down the first time. The first medical bill comes, or, the first job review comes back negative. And life just starts getting bombarded with new and interesting things that you now have to make a decision together. And you seem not be able to make that decision together. You keep having these negative thoughts or these conversations that you keep butting heads because of whether it be finances, about decisions about, could be simple as things as which way does the toilet paper roll go?
Where do you squeeze the
toothpaste.
toothpaste?
You know, when you start having those conversations and you figure out, okay, where do we go from this point? Can like Andrea said, it's not so much I pick up the socks the first time. It's the 100th time of, oh my gosh, she left the socks on the floor again? Or the towels get left on the floor in the bathroom, or the seat gets left up, in the middle of the night, and Andrea's got to go to the bathroom. She sits down without realizing it and falls into the toilet. Life happens. And some people go, well, those are silly things. Those little silly things that you say fester. And one of the key things about marriage, and we've discussed it already, is communication. Being able to sit down and go, hey, seriously, John? I'm not picking up your socks again. This is the 1,000th time you left the socks on the floor.
And just to be clear, John doesn't leave his socks on the floor, but it's just an example.
Thank you for clarifying. But seriously, I'm not going to pick them up again. You need to put them in the laundry basket. Okay. So, and the other side is, like she said at the beginning of the show, being willing to listen. Marriage takes work. 17 years have proved, if 17 years have proved anything, marriage takes work. And being able to
but it takes work, but it is so worth the work.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done these last 17 years without John. So,
well, I promised we wouldn't go too long. We've already been on for just under a half hour, and I've enjoyed myself. Have you?
Do you want to show a couple more pictures?
Okay, yeah. Let's show a couple other pictures. We've got this big picture back here. I'm gonna leave it right where it is because
you're gonna hit me in
I'm
the
gonna
head.
hit Andrew in the head. So don't lean too much.
You can see. They can see
yeah. This picture we took a year after we were married at JCPenney's, and they put the collage together. We have this picture. No, we've got
Which one?
right here. This one first. We had this picture done. It's an old time photo. It's got JD. I think he's 2.
I think he's 3.
3.
2 or 3.
2 or 3. Not really sure where we got. I think we got Sam's. Old time photo at Sam's.
It was a special thing they were doing.
This is before Ruth Ann was born, and then we did an old time photo with Ruth Ann. This picture right here, gotta hold this some way so you can see it. This picture, and one of Andrea's favorite things in life is old time photos. She just adores old time photos.
I like the dresses.
So whenever we go somewhere where they have an old time photo, if there's any remote chance that we can do it, she's all over that. So we did that, and then I already showed you that one.
I really like this picture. This is a picture that was taken at my parents' 40th wedding anniversary.
Yep.
And it's just, we did big family pictures and then just each family. And I mean, that was just, my parents were married very, very young. And everybody always said they'd never make it because they were married young. But they have been married more than 40 years. And that is just a testament to the strength of marriage. And I respect them so much. And I am believing that John and I will get that far.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
the thing is, and, we talked about God being in our marriage. They are the, I'm not sure how to say they are the poster child of godly marriage because they put God first above everything else. And that's key about any marriage. Yes, you're married to your spouse. Yes, you share a life together. Oop.
Oh dear.
No, that picture fell apart. I'll fix that. Something to do after the show. But God is a part of your marriage. And, and the Bible specifically says, love God above everything else. So even though, yes, you're married to your spouse, yes, you're committed to your spouse, if Andrea loves me more than she loves God, or if I love Andrea more than I love God, then we've flipped our marriage. We've no longer put God in our marriage. God is first and foremost, and Brian and Suzanne, they do a blessing by having that. So thank you for being such a godly example in marriage.
Yes.
So yeah, that's 40 there, 40th. Now that was several years ago. They have since moved on from there. So.
And I just want to show one more picture that has the whole family. This was taken several years earlier because your fans.
Actually, that's only about 6 months before that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So this was a picture was taken actually at Little Lighthouse, like that John mentioned. They were doing family Christmas pictures, and then the kids could sit in Santa's lap. Yeah. So that is a picture. It's one of my favorite pictures that we have with the whole family. I love that picture. Oh. Even though Ruth Ann's not smiling.
Yeah, well, Ruth Ann...
She doesn't smile very much in pictures, but it was a big picture.
She does now, but back then she did not. So, I'm sitting on pictures. I apologize. Yeah. So, oh, I think that happened when the other picture fell. Oh. So, yeah, and then, of course, behind me, right here, is our wedding picture. So, that's there, too. So hopefully you all enjoyed your time with us today. Hopefully we've shared some insight into what marriage is, and thank you for helping us celebrate 17 years today, anniversary, and yeah, anything else?
I love you.
I love you too. Hopefully I can get it banned.
What?
Well, sometimes Facebook or YouTube doesn't like too much display.
I didn't know that. Sorry.
Well, hopefully you guys are enjoying yourselves. Hopefully we are able to share some insight into life. And thank you for joining JAmemories. Like I said at the beginning of the show, if this is your first time joining us, go ahead and hit the like button. Let us know that you enjoy the content. Also, feel free to subscribe and turn on notifications so that when we do go live, and I promise sometime in the future I'll bring Andrea back and we will have another awesome time together, sharing whether it be memories, skills, whatever it ends up being. So, but we'll have to have that discussion down the road. So, thank you for joining us. God bless you. And like I always end the show, God loves you, whoever you are, and wherever you are. God bless. We'll see you next time.